Hello, and welcome to Heineken's Tech Insights, your podcast from HEINEKEN Kraków. Throughout this podcast, we'll be sharing insights and learnings from some of Heineken's top specialists who are shaping the digital future of Heineken. Join us to meet our experts, gain valuable knowledge, and see how what happens in Kraków goes around the world. I am Mateusz Komander, your host, and I'm excited to introduce our next series, Securing the Future, about cybersecurity at Heineken. If you've ever wondered how a global brand like Heineken fortifies itself against cyber threats, you are in the right place. Joining me today is Bartosz Przęzak, a cybersecurity officer here at HEINEKEN Kraków. Bartosz is responsible for ensuring that our digital landscape remains safe and protected. Welcome.
Hello, Mateusz. It's very happy to be here with you. I'm very happy to discuss cybersecurity-related topics when it comes to Heineken and HEINEKEN Kraków.
Perfect. Glad to have you here. And hopefully we'll give out some insights, maybe not too much. But hopefully we'll be able to take out something interesting to our listeners from you. So, Heineken, we know, is a global brand with countless moving parts, both digitally and operationally. So maybe before we jump into a specific topic, could you give us some insights about maybe your role specifically, what you are doing? Because I believe you are not specifically assigned as a global cybersecurity officer, but you are rather focused on our, let's say, area here in Poland, specifically in Kraków.
Yeah, that's correct. My role within Heineken is cybersecurity officer. Basically, every Heineken entity has at least one cybersecurity officer assigned to them locally. So basically, when it comes to to our backyard, so to speak, Heineken Kraków, I am a CSO for Heineken Kraków. This is a local role. We do have a lot of big global teams and global environment, but basically, I'm mostly focusing on local security at HEINEKEN Kraków.
Okay, and what does the cybersecurity mean in the context of a company like Heineken? Maybe we can shift a little bit to globally or high-level overview.
That's
but
right.
What does it mean? The context of it is.
You know what? It means everything, right? It's our number one priority. As you know, we strive to be the best connected brewer. This creates security threats because of existing and planned integrations between our IT systems. We right now live in a connected world. We do business online, and our various IT systems are connected within Heineken globally and within our local entities. So basically, as I said, cybersecurity is a number one priority because it doesn't matter how good we do, if we do great work, if it's not properly secured, everything can be in vain. Right, one of the biggest problems every company, it's not only Heineken, right, but every major company is facing right now is supply chain. Hackers are mostly targeting major company suppliers to try to get access to their environments, right? We do have a lot of compliance measure in place, security measures, security requirements from the suppliers, but still this part can be sometimes the weakest link in the whole chain of security, because a company can be compliant, can have various security procedure, but whenever a supplier is not following them precisely, then we can have a problem. So, but basically in Heineken, it's not that big of a deal. We have a great security procedures in place that ensure that our suppliers are compliant to our requirements. But in today's world of cybersecurity, this is one of the biggest threats. When it comes to HEINEKEN Kraków, security, data security, and cybersecurity. This is very, very important topic for us, as probably, as you know, we provide financial services for other Heineken entities. Our teams are dealing with sensitive data, and they need to know exactly what to do, what they can send, what to check before, sharing some information. HEINEKEN Kraków, we really focus on cybersecurity. Basically, each Heineken entity does that because we do know that this is our number one priority.
Okay, but so from what I've captured, and it's of course well known that we are a hub here in Krakow, so we are providing services to like multiple opcos around Europe mostly. But do you believe that this case that we are a hub and we deal with different suppliers, different opcos at the same time, is somehow for exposing us somehow specifically on cybersecurity, around the cybersecurity risk?
Yes, I believe so, because as you mentioned, we work with all Heineken entities. We have active connections between us. So yes, I would agree. But you know what? We are quite a different entity from all the others because we do not have production, right? We do not brew beer in Heineken. So basically, that whole entire area of PCD security, so that means production security, it's not applicable for us. So in some cases, yes, we are more exposed as we deal with a lot of financial data, sensitive data. But on the other hand, there is no production in Kraków, so maybe it balances itself a bit. But still, yes, I would agree to that we are exposed here at HEINEKEN Kraków more.
Okay, and what do you think, what might be, looking into the variety of threats and vulnerabilities that we need to keep an eye on, from your perspective, which security challenge do you think are, for us, let's say, are the biggest one that we are facing today here in Krakow?
Mm-hmm. So you know what? I would say that nowadays every major companies faces quite similar security challenges, as we all know, and I think we can safely say that right now we live in generative AI era, because a lot of those tools were introduced lately, still developing. We are using a lot of AI solutions in HEINEKEN Kraków. So, for example, those AI solutions can help us, but those can also help the attackers, right? The hackers. They can use those to create more sophisticated phishing attacks, more advanced, making it more difficult for our employees to distinguish between legitimate and malicious communication. They are using AI in multiple areas to create ransomware attacks. So the attacks when they encrypting company data and demanding payment for its release. So what I also see security challenges nowadays, usage of SAS, so basically software as service applications, cloud-based, because there are a lot of more cloud computing in place these days. So this gives us new challenges when it comes to that software as service. The misconfiguration of it could be a big problem. So yeah, we need to put an extra emphasis on that and to check it very thoroughly.
Okay, so I do believe there was some sort of documents leak, not in Heineken, but in some sort of sharing documents cloud solution. I don't recall the name from this year, I believe, but I also think there was some sort of ransomware last year from one of the laboratories that the data was exposed.
Yeah, that's correct. I think you are talking about Alab. This is a Polish chain of laboratories that many of, health facilities are working with them closely, and many of major players on the health market, so to speak. And that's true. They were attacked very severely with ransomware. In the end, they refused to pay, and a lot of data were leaked because they refused to pay. So the first batch, if I'm not mistaken, was about 50 gigabytes of data, just with a notepad format. So you can think of volumes of a lot of data, and such chain of laboratories, medical laboratories. They are processing a lot of sensitive data, health information on their patients. So yes, that's a good example. So those things are happening around us. It's not like a fiction that is happening somewhere else on the other continent, in USA. It's happening on our on our backyard. So it's quite scary, but we shouldn't be crippled by fear. We should have we just, instead of that, we should take proper security measures, and we need to have proper security procedures in place to be safe than later sorry, right?
That's true. But I wonder how we can keep the delicate balance between the rigorous protection or security within our company compared to the fast-paced needs of the business, specifically in the area we are operating, the fast-moving consumer goods. So how we are able to manage that?
Yeah, that's always a very important topic, very problematic topic. We don't want, our business to look at security as enemies, that we want to, slow them down and just basically only make problems for them. So when it comes to that business agility, everything should have its limits, but still we do have, for example, quite adaptive security policies, right? Flexible security policies that can adapt to changing business needs. We collaborate and communicate with business a lot. We work closely with other departments to understand business objectives and basically align security measures with those goals. Basically, we always want to help them, not to make additional problems for them. But as I mentioned before, cybersecurity still is our top priority. So basically, we do need to put a big emphasis on it. But still, we try to. I think that communication between departments, those adaptive security policies, and security awareness campaigns, trainings, something like that can help our users, our business users, to understand what it's needed from them to be compliant, to be secure, and when they are secure, it's all good. I think one more thing, it's, for example, integration of security into DevOps, by integrating security practices into the DevOps process. Those teams can assure that security is considered at every single stage of development. That basically will help us with the delays, that when something was done not up to our security standards, then our developers have to just go back and redo everything. By educating them and integrating our security policies in every step of the work, they know exactly what is expected from them, and they can follow it, and no further delays are needed, because during all phases of development, if they are following it, at the end we just basically approve it. Or obviously we are checking everything thoroughly, but if they follow those procedures, it's much simpler, it's much faster for us and for them, and that's how we try to balance that security with business agility.
So quite an interesting areas, but maybe stepping back a little bit from that, because we were focusing a lot about how we are doing around. But I would like to know what the cybersecurity officer is actually doing during a day. So let's say a day in the life of a CSO. Okay, so what actually look like this field? So I do believe that you are probably not writing a ton of lines of code as we see on the movies, that you are actively fighting all of the breaches into our system. But maybe if you could share a little bit of highlight, how does this work look like?
Sure. So basically, as I was mentioning before, the role of cybersecurity officer, it's something that connects the global security with local security. Because, for your information, there is one cybersecurity officer per Heineken entity, and we have right now in Heineken Kraków something about 2,000 employees, right? So you may think to yourself that it would be a bit strange if only one person was in charge of, IT information security of such a big company, of such a big entity. And the truth is that we work with global teams. So when it comes to the average day of CSO, it really varies, right? So when something urgent is happening, we put everything aside and deal with that. So I'm talking about security incidents, because basically our global teams are monitoring our IT systems, and whenever they find something that is suspicious, they create a security incident and assign it based on the origin of the user of the machine that was detected. So basically, when I receive those, I put everything aside and I prioritize that, because security incidents are our top priority. They pose a real threat to us. But when it comes to daily activities, in my scope, there are, for example, IT request approvals. We have a big list of pre-approved software, but in case when somebody, for example, a developer, they need different tools that are not on the list, they have to create a request, and then request goes through the approval process. So basically, CSO is responsible for checking and approving or rejecting such a request. As I mentioned before, we do a lot things compliance-wise. I need to, as cybersecurity officer, I need to make sure that we are compliant with global requirements. So we perform various controls, we provide various evidences. So basically, when it comes to our IT software environment, when it comes to new tools introduction, this is also a cybersecurity officer responsibility. So when there is a need for a tool that haven't been approved yet in Heineken, we just cannot approve installation of such tool. So when there is a good business justification, we do start the process of introduction new software. The situation is very similar when it comes to managing our local application landscape. So when we choose, we as Heineken Kraków, when we choose a new for example, a new supplier for an application to manage our desk space or parking lot. So basically, all of those applications have to go through that IT risk assessments. Those assessments are very strict, and basically cybersecurity officers are assisting business owners of such solutions that are to be implemented with the entire process. Because as I mentioned, the process it's quite complicated. There are a lot of requirements. We just need to make sure that the new tool, that a new supplier, that they just meet all our requirements. Basically, another part of CSO scope is security awareness. So we do a lot of in that scope. We conduct security awareness campaigns, webinars that all our employees are always invited, are very welcome, with help of global teams and also locally. Here we conduct, phishing exercises because, as you know, phishing is a huge threat nowadays. And when it comes to AI usage as well, that phishing can be much more sophisticated. So we just still need to educate our users. They need to exercise it. They need to have a habit of checking every single message, right? To just be sure if it's safe to use.
So so I hear there's a lot of things around, but what I've captured, actually, I've captured two things really at the beginning. I don't know if that was if that was good for you to share, because you may have a lot of requests from your colleagues in Heineken Kraków. You mentioned that you are the one approving installations of outside tools, so you may be bombarded with approval requests. Yeah. But I also know that you will be the one chasing me if I click the one phishing email.
Yeah, but when our user clicks on phishing emails, it's not the end of the world, right? And we do not want to punish our employees. What we want to do, we want to educate them. We want to always, explain to them what to look for, why, if they actually clicked on a phishing link, what to look for in the future, right? What to check exactly to avoid such mistake in the future. But as I said, mostly the purpose is not to punish somebody that they did something, but the goal is for them to learn from their mistakes, right?
Exactly, and specifically that if someone makes that mistake, you can actually extrapolate throughout the whole company, and so you can share guys, we had that kind of incident, so now be aware of that.
That's correct.
Okay, so maybe wrapping a little bit this episode, Bartosz, before we end, maybe if you could leave us with one key insight, maybe we can try to navigate that within a 5-word sentence. What is the key insight about why cybersecurity is vital for Heineken Kraków? What would that be?
So as I mentioned multiple times, right, it's always our top priority, because without security, everything can be in vain. I think that focusing on that security awareness, education, this is very, very important, because as you mentioned, when it comes to phishing, when one user, it just takes one user to click on a phishing link, and via lateral movement, the entire organization, not only Heineken Kraków, can be impacted by the Heineken globally. So basically, education, awareness, in my book, it's very, very important.
It's the key. Yeah. Yes. Okay. So thank you for shedding a little bit of light on the critical role of the cybersecurity. And in our next episode, we'll dig into the skills, career paths, and growth opportunities in cybersecurity at Heineken. So stay tuned. To stay connected, be sure to subscribe on Spotify, YouTube, and follow Heineken Global Shared Services on LinkedIn. And remember, here at Heineken, we are always looking for rising stars who are ready to make an impact. If you are interested in joining us, you can explore our open positions at heinekenkrakow.pl. We'll be back with more insights from Heineken's agile and digital transformation journey, showing how what happens in Krakow goes around the world. Join us next time to keep learning, growing, and adapting.